Colorado and Winnipeg. This one is a coin flip as far as the odds makers are concerned. Minus 110 both ways on this one. The total is at minus 120 on the over 5.5. Bri, I'll go to you on this one here. It's looking like it's Georgiev and Hellebuck. First game home for Winnipeg off a 4-game road trip. And Colorado's had 4 days off, 4-game winning streak, or 4-0-1 their last 5, beating Florida, Mini, St. Louis, and Edmonton, while losing in OT to Tampa. 4 days off. Makar's still out. He's going to miss the games through the weekend on concussion protocol. Does that affect where you might go in this game?
Yeah, that's terrible for he and the Colorado fans. Finally get him back, and now he's out again. Colorado sets up as a revenge situation for me here, and it's certain parameters, but they're 3-2 on the season so far in these revenge situations. But I'm kind of worried about the 4 days off. Normally, I like a team rested, but 4 days right now, that's a lot. So it's a situation of, is it rest or rust here against a Winnipeg team that has actually had their number lately. Winnipeg is, I believe, they've got the best home record in the Western Conference, and they played well against Colorado lately. So Winnipeg may be the way to look at this, but I like a team coming off of a nice break, 2, maybe even 3 days, but 4 days may be a little bit too much. And then they got to play Calgary at home the following day. So, and then they got the Golden Knights, who seems to be playing decent at this point. So they got a tough schedule coming up in 3 out of the last 4 days, or 3 out of the next 4 days they'll be playing against good teams. Winnipeg's a team that has been up and down this year. They've got really hot early in the season. Andrew and I talked about being able to get them at 50-1 earlier this year. Kind of like the Winnipeg side here, but I don't like to go against my revenge situation. So you're getting Winnipeg at a pick'em situation on the strongest home court in the Western Conference. Kind of like them, but I'm not going to fade Colorado at this point, even though, like I said, this 4 days off could be a negative in this regard.
Okay, Brian, I'm going to go back to you just for a quick second on this one. Just a question of 4 days off. They come off a game in which it was almost pond hockey, a 6-5. Even if they are a little rusty, we always know that this team is good for some goals. That total is at 5.5, and it's I think it has more to do with the way Winnipeg plays than Colorado. Is that a total? I know you're not a totals guy. Would you lean an over in this game?
I guess I would, to get a 5.5. It was actually opened at 6 -1 or -25, and now for the most part it's 5.5. So it's been balanced in between. You can still get 6 -25 at DraftKings, but yeah, it's, unless you've got a team like a Dallas or a Minnesota, certain teams are clear under teams. I don't consider either Colorado or Winnipeg to be that way, especially Colorado. They've got so much firepower on that team. Yeah, it's possibly play Winnipeg, a team total over. I'll have to take more of a look at it. But, yeah, the over would be the way I would look as opposed to the under.
Yeah, we mentioned, like with Makar out, and it's a big miss. I really feel bad for him because this is his second time out, and you hope this isn't one of those ones that is going to follow him in his career. Maybe giving him more time off. We see it in other sports, and as we know with Tua and Miami, bringing a guy back too quick. NHL is a physical game. You're gonna get hit, especially defenseman when that puck goes into the corner. So maybe more time off, the better. The fact that they can't afford to have too many guys out of the lineup, and maybe they make a deal for another puck moving defenseman. I hear Erik Karlsson is still available for the San Jose Sharks, so that would be a good fill-in for Colorado in that Makar spot. I'll go to you, Andy, on this one. If we're looking at goals, we're looking at player props. If we're looking at an under, we're looking at some under in the player props.
Man, it's going to be tough to take some unders in this one. I don't know. Jets aren't doing a whole lot to impress me recently. 6-8 in their last 14, and their player props have been tough. I know you've been on Dubois, and there's just some of these other guys, Morrissey. They're just not consistent enough, and they've scored 2 or fewer in 3 out of their 4 games on the road trip. Avalanche are playing really well. I mean, if you think about it, their one shootout loss against Tampa from having 5 really good wins in a row. I mean, that shootout could have gone either way. They beat Tampa. Now they have some unbelievable wins in that 5-game stretch. And I mean, my gosh, look at Nathan MacKinnon starting to come alive. I mean, we all know he's capable of putting up, big stats. But I mean, check this out. The last 5 games, he has 34 shots on goal, 5 goals, and 7 assists. So he seems to be kind of in one of those zones that he can get in and just rip off a ton of shots and a ton of goals and a ton of assists. I certainly wouldn't take an under on him. I think you got to look at 4.5 shots on goal tonight, possibly over 1.5 points. But I tend to gravitate more towards the shots on goal prop. So I mean, 9, 6, 6, 7, 6. He's ripping it, and they're getting to goal. So yeah, 4.5 shots on goal for McKinnon. It's a big number, but I'll certainly take it here.
For a second there, I thought you were going to break out into that song there. What's that song with the phone number? 867-5309. I thought you're ripping off some numbers there. I wasn't sure which way you were going with it, man.